Okay, so the this is hopefully the last one of the reviews for exam two. This is the sixth one. I believe we'll be able to make it the last one. I hope. Anyway, this is exam two to review F, and we need to do problem 18, 19, and 20. Let's see if we can get it onto this review. Math 105. 20, here we go. Number 18, here's the problem. Here's the given g of x. Here's the function, square root of x plus 2. And what's the question? What is the domain? Okay, so, and they want it in interval notation, one of their favorites. So now here's what you got to do. Here's the answer. The square root. A function cannot be the square root of a negative number. That gets us into imaginary numbers and i's. It can't be an imaginary number. Functions do not work with imaginary numbers. They're not called functions anymore. So, but there are certain x's that'll be perfectly legal as long as it's either 0 or above. It just can't be -1, -2, -1,000, etc. So the way to figure that out is that the way to express that is that x plus 2, right? That what's inside the radical can either be equal or greater to 0, but it cannot be below 0 because that's -1, -2, -3, which is off, which you can't take the square root of. So it can be greater or equal to 0. So what's x? Do -2 on both sides, and you have x can be greater or equal to -2. That's the answer. That's all there is to it. That's going to be what the legitimate domain is. Now, what about interval notation? Interval notation, the way to express that is it's -2 would be the bottom number, the lower number. Everything else is higher. So, but is -2 included? Yes. So you put a bracket with the -2, then a comma, and it can go all greater, greater, and greater all the way to infinity. And that's how to express it in interval notation. And that's it. Okay. Now, there's should be enough room here for me to do number 19, although 19 is a little bit lengthy. I think I can take care of it. As follows. Let's move this up even the paper to prepare as much paper as we can. Okay. So here we go. You're given a picture. Here's what happens. You're given a picture. Right, and my pictures are lousy. There's a much better. Y-axis, x-axis. Okay. Basically, this goes to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to give you a little information here. There's a 4 here. It goes down -1. So there's a -1 there. And this goes up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a 7 here. And they show you 2 points on the graph. Here's one of them. Right over here. You can figure out the coordinates easily. It's 0, -1. And then the other thing is that it's the other point that they show you is it's above the 4 and across the way from the 7, right? And they'll show you those 2 points on the graph. You'll be able to see clearly what they are. Then they give you the instructions. What they say is write an equation of a line, of this line, of a line. Of a line that goes through those 2 points, right? That goes through. If they'll explain themselves, they'll explain a little bit better, and they'll say that goes through. I'm not spelling through right. Those 2 points. Okay, fine. So let's identify what the points are. You can look them up. You can see clearly that one of the points is 4 up 7, 4 comma 7. That's one of the points. And the other point, the second point that they're showing us is right over here, which is 0. Don't go right, don't go left, but don't go down -1. So it's 0, -1. There's our 2 points. How do you take care of a problem like this? There's a formula called y minus y1, which is called the slope point formula of the line. Has a fancy name. And that's the tool, whenever you see write an equation, that's the tool that we need to use to write this equation. What does this tool want? This tool wants a slope and it wants a point. So we've got 2 points. We can take either one of those points. But it doesn't just want the point. It wants it has to be fed a point with the x1 and the y1, but it also has to be fed a slope. So we can find the slope. Since we know 2 points on this line, we can find the slope. Remember the formula for slope? M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. As long as you have 2 points, you'll be able to do this. So that we do have 2 points right here. So let's use the formula for slope and find find exactly what the slope is. Remember, let me put it up here. Let me put it up here that what the formula for slope is. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What is y2? Negative 1. Minus is part of the formula. What's y1? 7. What's x2? 0. Minus is part of the formula. What's x1? 4. What do I have? Negative 8 over negative 4. What's negative 8 over negative 4? Positive 2. Slope is equal to positive 2. I got the slope. This formula needs a slope, and it needs a point. I'm going to take the first point, the one that's called 4, 7. Here's what I do. Leave y alone. Leave minus alone. y1 I take for that is equal to 7. Take the 7. Equals the slope, which we found was 2, times x minus, and x1 is 4. That's the point we're taking. And now let's clean this up. So we have the next line reads y minus 7 is equal to 2x minus 8 plus 7 on both sides. They usually want y isolated on the left-hand side, so that's what I'm figuring they want. Plus 7 on both sides. This is gone. And what this produces is y is equal to 2x. How much is minus 8 and plus 7? Minus 1. And there is the equation of a line. And the information came from the fact that we had the coordinates of the 2 points. We were able to figure out the coordinates of the 2 points, and we were able to go from there and get an equation of the line by feeding this crucial formula, which is called the slope point form of the line. What do you click on in Alex? You click on since you have to give an equation of a line, you click on a box that looks like this. You click on the icons that look like this, and that'll set you up to write down an equation. Okay, that was problem number 18. Problem number, this was not problem 18. I never wrote down what this was. This was problem number 19. We go to a fresh piece of paper for the last problem, which is number 20. Okay, here we go. Fresh piece of paper. There we go. Okay, here comes 20. 20 is as follows. It wants the average rate of change. I abbreviated average, of course. Okay, it wants the average rate of change. Here's what it gives you as the function. H of x is equal to 2x squared minus 2x cubed, 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2. There we go. That is the formula. Now it wants the rate of change from x equals negative 2 to x equals 1. Okay, step 1. You have to remember the formula. Here comes the answer. It's a little bit elaborate. Here you have to remember the formula for average rate of change. And here is the formula. It is f of x2 minus f of x1 over x2 minus x1. That means we have to fill in something. We have to fill in 4 boxes with numbers in them. An f of x2 we got to do. F of x2 minus an f of x1. So we're going to have to get those numbers and put them in these boxes. And then x2 minus x1. Step 1. This is your x2 right over here. I'm sorry, this is your x1. This is your x1, and this is your x2 right here. So we can fill in the two bottom boxes, the denominator boxes. x2, you look it up on the right-hand side, you see that it's a 1 right over here. And you look up x1, and you see it's a -2. So those boxes are done. Now, we need to find out this is h of x, right? So we need to find out what is h of in other words, f of x1, we can also call it h. So we need to find out what is h of x2, right? H of x2. What's x2 for us? The number 1. So fill in a 1 in there. And now every time you see x, put a 1. 1 to the third, minus 3, 1 to the squared, minus 2. We work out the numbers, and we get 2 times 1, minus 3 times 1, minus 2, which is 2, minus 3 and minus 2 is minus 5, minus 5, so it's a total of -3. We get the number -3. Okay, we get -3 there. Now, the next thing we've got to work out is what is h of x1? H of x1. Look up x1. It says the number -2. Okay, fill into the function. Every time you see x, replace it with -2. So 2 times -2 cubed. Then minus 3 times -2 squared minus 2. How much is that? -2, don't forget exponents first, right? PEMDAS. -2 cubed is -8, so it's 2 times -8. Minus -2 squared is 4, so it's -3 times 4 minus 2. This is -16. This is -12. That's -2. And you total them all up, and you get -30. Okay, f of x2, right? This was x2. X equals 1 was x2. So is this one, which is -3. It goes in this box. F of x1, what's x1? X equals -2. So that's when we put -2 into the function, and we got -3 out of there, is this box. What's -3 negative -30, right? What's -3 minus 30? That's what we're looking at. -3 minus -30. It is going to be it's going to be -3 plus 30. And what's -1 minus -2? It's 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this is going to be equal to 27 over 3, which is equal to 9. And finally, we have our final answer. It's going to be equal to the number 9. Okay, we end this video. We finally finished this. This is the last problem from the review.